Well done and congratulations to Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club. Over the two legs, thoroughly deserved to be in this final. But there was a lot of gaslighting going on during that game. Gary Neville, a legend of my football club, a footballer that I have a deep-rooted, such a strong fundamental love and respect for, I thought was an abomination tonight. Now, you may have been watching in a different part of the world or a different stream, and maybe you weren't listening to what I was listening to. But what the man was essentially saying all game is, although Chelsea turned up with 7 defensive players on the pitch, Santos and Caicedo, 2 fullbacks, 2 left back and right backs, and 3 centre backs, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although they sat behind, they had more of the ball in the first half, 55% of it. They did have more of the shots, but they were all speculative from distance. João Pedro's hold-up play actually was top class tonight. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. But it was a defensive approach. A mid-block at times, a low block in others, and it was to stop Arsenal from attacking. They just said, we're not going to let you score, but we're not going to score either. Listening to Gary Neville sit there and say, Arsenal need to be attacking, Arsenal need to be committing their fullbacks forward, Arsenal need to be taking risks, I couldn't understand for the life of me what he was going on about. Arsenal had no need to score, and they certainly didn't have to take any risks in their attack because Chelsea weren't attacking. It was different from the Man United game. From when they scored, Man United started to attack. Now, they did score. Man United started to attack. That's actually what Arsenal should have been a little bit more conservative. But in this instance, you can't compare the two. They're leading 1-0. Chelsea weren't trying to score. So why should Arsenal make it easy by leaving space in behind? An absolutely ridiculous notion in cup football. But Arsenal tonight had to show a lot of mental strength. And this is where Arteta and Arsenal impressed me the most tonight. You could hear the anxiety in the crowd. I could see it in the group chats. All day, Arsenal friends of mine, I'm nervous, I'm pulling my hair out. Like one guy, Terry, you got the hook up for the hair transplant, I'm pulling my hair out, bruv. I could hear the nerves, you could see the nerves on the pitch. And the players at times did look a little bit nervous. The manager, you could see there was this pent-up frustration, all the semi-finals they've lost in the last 6 years. But Arsenal stayed really composed tonight. They showed a fantastic mentality, and they didn't get suckered in to Liam Rosenior's game. They didn't listen. I know they weren't actually listening to him, but they didn't do what the Gary Nevilles and the Chelsea fans and the haters of Arsenal were suggesting. Attack. Fullbacks push forward. Move the ball quicker. Take more risks. Go and score that next goal. Because it's exactly what Liam Rosenior's team wanted them to do. They wanted... It was Liam Rosenior was trying to pull off a Jose Mourinho masterclass. Lure you in and pounce. But what Arsenal did was perfect. So, well, we don't need to score. There you go, son. Have the ball. But we know you're not going to attack. 1, you've played a team predominantly full of defenders. And 2, you're scared of us. That is exactly what Liam Rosenior told Arsenal tonight. We know we can't go toe-to-toe with you. We know we can't cope for 90 minutes going at it. So we're going to sit back, try and keep it at 0-0 for 60 minutes, and then go for it. And they bottled that. But what Arsenal had to do was stay resolute. Now, I get for a Gooner that wanted 3 goals tonight, it's crap. I get if you tuned in as a neutral and I thought it was going to be a goal fest this evening. But that's because I got gaslit by Don. Don of the Football Terrace, and of course Don CFC channel, and does SDS and everything else. He gaslit me into going, Chelsea will not sit back, Chelsea will attack, we ain't scared of them, watch. I believed him. They didn't have it in them tonight. But Arsenal deserve a lot of credit for the way they sat in, the way they operated. Equally, we cannot forget this is the second half of the tie. Arsenal did their hard work. Arsenal played their great football in that first half, where essentially they won the tie. I want to shout out Kai Havertz for the winning goal, because I was saying during the week that I feel that maybe, just maybe, the winning goal might come from someone like Anoni Madueke. I sort of forgot Kai Havertz was a Chelsea player until he came on. And for him to score the goal that way, in that moment, I just think from an Arsenal perspective, was poetic, beautiful, and a little bit of a redemption for a man who's been out for a year, a man who's been abused by some of his own fans at Arsenal, ridiculed by a fan base who he won the Champions League for, And for him to put the final nail in the coffin was absolutely fantastic for him. So fair play to Kai Havertz. Thoroughly happy for him to have done that. Now, another area that I want to praise Arsenal for tonight was their defending. João Pedro, I thought, had a masterful, a beautiful, a poetic night on the ball, holding up the play. And he really did give Saliba and Gabriel a hard time in that regard. But you know what? It doesn't matter whether it was the wing-backs in Gusto and Cucurella. It didn't matter when Palmer came on. Esteval came on, by the way. Esteval, amazing in the first game. And I want to be very fair with Esteval. I don't quite know the details, but suffered some type of family emergency this week. Flew to Brazil, flew back again to play this game. And I'm not going to say too much about his performance tonight, but he didn't have a great impact. But of course, lots of things going on in his mind. But those Arsenal fullbacks in Hincapié and Timber were unfazed. Defensively, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, unfazed. Even when Chelsea had more of the ball, they weren't being dragged out of position. They maintained their discipline, and they were absolutely together as a unit. And even when it got down to the last sort of 3 or 4 minutes of the game, they were just not allowing Chelsea any angles to put the ball into the box. They were so good defensively and so ready to pounce on the counter. It's white. And the goal at the end is testament to the defense. The goal that Arsenal scored is testament to their defending. But what it led to is Chelsea not having the courage to attack fully. Because if you look at the last 20 minutes of the game, Arsenal were poised to score that type of goal. So Chelsea just were tentative. It's almost like they didn't want to try and cross the ball or break a line in the fear of losing it and being knocked out of the competition. And that was the only element tonight I was disappointed with, is that we didn't get the goal fest and we didn't get the big spectacle. But Arsenal now move on to their first final since 2020. At the moment, it's likely they're going to play Manchester City, but who knows with the leads they've been throwing away. But Arsenal go into this game as the favourites. They're the best team in England so far this year, and they now have a very good chance and a very good opportunity of winning their first piece of silverware, as I mentioned, since 2020, but also relieving a big amount of pressure in the title race as well. And I don't think that can be understated. The way they played tonight, the way they maintain their composure, they're going to need that in at least another 10 games in the Premier League this year. They're going to need that in moments in the Champions League this year. But they've done it in a semi-final. They've got over the line. They've got that job done. And that should stand Arsenal in very good stead in terms of building that confidence to be able to win these games. The final, I think, is in 40 to 50 days' time. It's going to be a spectacle. Arsenal fans have been craving this moment for a long time. So I want to say congratulations to the Arsenal supporters who have stood by their manager, stood by their club, supported their players every single step of the way. Yes, giving them the criticism when they need it. Yes, berating them when they needed it. But actually stood by them and believed that this was possible. Whoever you get in the final, if you get Newcastle, I probably want Newcastle to win because they're the underdog. That's just my way. If you get City, of course I want Arsenal to win because no real Man United fan would ever want to see Manchester City win a trophy. But congratulations tonight to Arsenal. A masterful, skillful, and well-navigated game. A weird game, a difficult game. But Arsenal got through it, in my opinion, in flying colours with a win on the night and 4-2 overall. Please, if you haven't done so already, like, share and subscribe. Get that bell notification button turned on as well. But the Gunners are through to the final.